Welcome to Purpose After Sports, where we share athletes' post-sport journeys and explore how they are reinventing what it means to compete. Today we have Bree O'Neal.
Hello.
If you can't tell, we are related. But more importantly, she is a former athlete and our nutritionist with PAS. So today we're just going to learn a little bit more about her sports journey and just kind of explore her nutritionist path and how she got into it and everything in between. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, so just start off telling us a little bit about yourself. Let's talk about your sports journey, the good, the bad, the in-between.
Hi, my name is Bree O'Neal. I started playing sports when I was about 4. I played basketball at a church league, and then I played sports all through growing up. So I played softball, I ran cross country, I did track, volleyball, and basketball mainly. And then I took my basketball career all the way to collegiate level. I got to play with all my sisters at one point in time too, so that was a very special moment in my life. And then I played with my twin sister for almost every team I was on. Once I got to a collegiate level, I stayed there for about a year, and then I thought it was time to bow out gracefully. So I focused more on my nutrition and school studies, and then from there, that's where my love of food grew until I became the nutritionist for PAS.
Let's dive into more of your sports journey.
Okay.
Let's get to the nitty-gritty. So, you were an athlete your whole life. You played in high school, everything. What was it like having to make that decision to leave?
So it was kind of scary leaving something that I've always known. Mm-hmm. So that part was really hard for me. But I was ready for a change in my life. Like, I knew I didn't want to do basketball for the rest of my life. So I kind of just wanted to start transitioning earlier than later.
Yeah. So
I could cope with it before a lot of my other teammates or friends had. Mm-hmm. I saw kind of the struggle they went through, and I knew that that's not something that I wanted to personally go through. So just taking a step away before the decision was made for me, I made the decision, was kind of a little bit easier.
Okay.
When it came down to it, yeah.
So with sports, great memories, bad memories, struggles?
Oh, all of the above.
Right.
But most of all, I learned so many life lessons that translate into the real world, like time management, productivity. Overall, I just learned a lot of things that I wouldn't take for granted a second in this world. So I'm grateful for all the years that I did spend in sports.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I'm out of it and trying to figure out where my life is now. That doesn't mean I don't do anything sports related. I still try and exercise. I've been running. I just did a 5K, a mud run. So go do that if you need to get some activity. And then I do box at my local gym. So staying active is not a problem for me. I definitely feel like it's needed, but just transitioning into my own thing instead of something that's collegiate or anything related.
What was it like playing with your sisters growing up?
Oh gosh, talk about comparisons. I loved it. For 1 year, I was a freshman. All my sisters played with me, so I had a senior. She's right there, and then our middle sister was a junior. Me and my twin were freshmen. So to say that I lacked in the family department wasn't true. Everybody played their role, and I think it was just honestly so fun to experience sports from that side. I don't feel like a lot of individuals get to see what their sisters are like everywhere, and so getting to see them on the court, off the court, at home was just honestly so special for me. But there was one game where we all got to play together, and that one I will never forget for sure.
We're pretty competitive, so.
Oh yeah, everything's a competition in this household.
Yeah. So let's go into what got you into food, because I think growing up it started way before you got into college. You've always kind of been self-conscious of what's going into your body and the best way, you know what I mean, and wanting kind of to know more about food. So just talk a little bit about how you got into that.
Yeah, so I was driving home from a basketball tournament, actually, and one of my teammates' dads asked me what did I want to be when I grew up. And we started to brainstorm, and I knew that I wanted to do something with food because I just liked the way that you don't know what's going on in your body. Like, you can't just see through it. So I wanted to know how the food affects me. I wanted to pretty much see how the food goes through me and just know that science, and that just intrigued me so much. So then he mentioned that dietetics was a career, and I had never even heard of it. And from then on, it was a wrap. That was the field that I wanted to go into. I loved the way that I got to learn constantly. The field's ever changing, so that is so beautiful to know that I can constantly grow and learn. But it did start from an unhealthy relationship with food. I didn't know how to lose weight properly or gain muscle correctly. So I took measures into my own hands, and it wasn't the best. So I wanted to be able to educate myself and then educate others, so they didn't have to go through some of the same struggles I did, or they can talk to somebody who might have gone through some of the same things.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
So talk about kind of how you think the athletic side and nutrition go hand in hand, and even, being a former athlete, how it kind of correlates with each other.
So I think it's somewhat of a performance-based job. Obviously, when you're still in high school and junior high, there's not as much pressure, but as you get to collegiate level, you're asked to perform almost every day. So I feel as if most athletes don't have the right nutrition, they can't perform to their best ability. Mm-hmm. I struggled a lot with that in college. I was a very, very simple girl, so I ate 3 things: ice cream, pizza, and fries. Those are the only things that I liked at our school. It ventured out every now and then, but for the most part, those 3 things. And I quickly saw a decline in my energy levels, the way that I was able to focus in classes, and it pretty much went hand in hand together. So then once I got out of that toxic cycle of food, I started to really take into consideration what was going in and out. And I saw drastic changes, and I just wondered what athlete I could have been during these times of my lives if I would have put food first.
Right.
So I think that giving athletes just the right tools, giving them infographics, or giving them certain plans just puts them a step ahead of so many others. Mm-hmm. Almost gives them an advantage, and it's something you do every day. You eat every day. So.
Right.
Or almost, right?
Well, that's huge. You talk about you're going to college and you have access to food that you might not have had access to, and you can get it almost any time, and there's no one telling you, maybe we should look at something different. So it can be challenging to know what to eat and what not, and then you're also burning so many calories, so you're like, well, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
So, no, that was a really important topic to touch on there. What do you think, or how do you think it can help former athletes as well, still focusing on their nutrition and good stuff into their bodies?
No, I like how you did mention you're burning so many calories, because once you stop sports, usually the trend is that you stop working out as much. You're not on a schedule. You're not waking up doing 6 a.m.s or having morning conditioning.
Right.
So you're not burning as many calories. You're more sedentary. So you get to relax a little bit more. So then sometimes your eating habits don't change. Mm-hmm. And your body starts to see those effects. Like, your metabolism can slow down through those rates of inactivity. And so now you're pretty much going through another cycle, a changing cycle in your body, and your body's trying to figure out what its norm is now.
Yeah.
And it's ever changing, right? Because you are. So just knowing how to correctly balance that food to exercise ratio once you don't have to do it every day, once it's not mandatory. So I think it's very beneficial to still care about your nutrition and be wanting to actively, make an active choice to change what you're doing every day or how you're eating every day.
Yeah.
Or
even just getting more information on it.
Exactly.
What do you think you had to internalize most during your sports career?
So not a lot of people will struggle with the same thing that I did, but I have a twin sister, and she played every sport I did. So the main thing I felt like I internalized was a constant competition with somebody who is as alike as me. obviously I had sisters and they didn't make it easy either, setting records in high school, making a name for themselves in a lot of the sports they played. So that was always in the back of my mind. But having somebody constantly competing with me, living in the same household as me, maybe getting more playing time as me, I really had to figure out how to be a supportive teammate as well as a good sister too. So that was kind of hard for me, but it was also like very beneficial. I learned how to be a very good, pretty much cheerleader, and I ended up my junior year getting like a sportsmanship award just for the fact of me cheering on my team, and that is when I knew I can make a difference off the court just as much as I could on the court.
Yeah. I love that. With being a retired athlete, what are things that you do enjoy now?
Okay, so like Nikki already said, everything's a competition. I still compete, but it's a different kind of competition now. Yeah. I usually just try to find ways to compete with myself to stay motivated. So whether that's just doing my own workout and then trying each and every day to get better at it, so I make my own notes. So when I run, I'll try and do a mile, but now instead of just running the mile, I time the mile. So every day I'll just see how fast I can keep going, or even progress isn't linear, so every day is just a pretty much tracker to see how well I'm doing. Staying consistent is really the biggest thing for it, and that's always been a struggle for me, so that I feel like has been the best thing.
If you had the chance to do your career all over again, would you take it?
Are we talking every sports career, like from high school on, or are we just talking basketball career?
Your sports journey.
Yes. I would redo it with only the knowledge that I have now. So like if I was...
Oh, that's not fair.
No, but like not necessarily how games would go or anything, but food and nutrition wise. Like I have said that from the moment I started studying pretty much, is if I could go back, I would, just with the ability to know
what you know now.
Exactly. Just the little things like protein after a workout. I'll see the most like regain in my muscles, which would mean I'll be stronger.
Yeah.
Like, I was very, very small and not pretty fragile, I guess. I feel like a little bit of mass would have taken me a little bit further.
What advice would you give to former athletes?
The advice I would give to former athletes is take your nutrition as seriously as you would if you were still playing, because it still matters, even though you're not as in an intensive schedule as you used to be.
What advice would you give to current athletes?
The advice I would give to current athletes is I would just tell them that whatever you take the most seriously in your career right now, whether that's shooting, ball handling, working out, lifting weights, like whatever it is, take nutrition just as seriously, because it makes just as much an impact as all the other things that I just mentioned.
All right, so talk to us a little bit about what you offer with PAS and...
All right, well, one of my favorite things that I offer is the free infographics on the Instagram page. So if you haven't seen them, go check them out. They're really, they touch on some of the more questionable topics that a lot of athletes or former athletes have. So if you have quick questions or need some quick answers, they're on there for you. But some of the more in-depth options that we offer with the program are meal plans and one-on-one coaching. So if you need just some extra support, somebody to go through this journey with you, I will be there. We will be there for you. And if you just have even any more questions, you can always just go to the page, send us a quick email, or talk to us, and we would love to get to know your story or you a little bit more. So, thank you.
Okay, that was perfect. Good job, Bree.
Yep. Tell them Bree sent you.